personal trainers hate it, 88% of our doctors recommend it. See what all the hype is about, try the new weight loss pill today. That is a perfect example of how not to deliver an ethical message to your audience. Ever since I can remember, whenever I'm presented with any information, I'm trying my best to find definitive facts behind it, asking why and how it is that way. Ever since I learned about how much of an impact being an ethical speaker has on speeches, I couldn't help but make that my main focus in speeches. I'm sure now that many of you are more experienced with doing speeches, you understand just how important it is to be ethical in your speeches. Even, I'm sure with the skills you've acquired, you notice that you're even applying it in your personal life, sometimes without even realizing it. Today, after listening to my speech, you guys will be aware of exactly how much of an impact being an ethical speaker has made on me. And I'm going to be reviewing the just what exactly being an ethical speaker entails, how it's impacted me, and some future ways you can apply it. So the key concept to keep in mind when delivering a speech is always be ethical. If I could cite just the NCA's credo for ethical communication, which you guys received earlier this semester, which was approved by the NCA's Legislative Council in November of 1999. It states, ethical communication enhances human worth and dignity by fostering truthfulness, fairness, responsibility, and respect for self and others. This means two things. Okay. One, always give your audience facts. Let them judge the information. Don't give them what you want them to hear, and then fill in the rest with your opinions. Secondly, always respect your audience. There's always going to be controversial topics, and your audience will have their own personal feelings. So you always need to keep that in mind. In terms of impact on me, when I go to give speeches, before I even select my topic, I look for what has the most data, the most peer-reviewed studies, the most information, so I can give you guys all the information you need to know to form your own judgments. Secondly, you can even apply it down to a more personal level. You can say, if a friend comes to you with a question, you can be like, he'll ask you for advice or even a question, you can simply say, I don't know, rather than lead him on with misinformation, because that just isn't ethical. It's better to tell the truth than to say what they might want to hear. In terms of applying this in the future, if you understand what it means really to be an ethical speaker, you can actually use this for listening to others. I'd say that the most prominent way to do this would be, or prevalent, would be to use this in election years, because a lot of people are unsure who they're going to vote for. And one thing you can use as a strategy to understand your candidate is to see just how they're delivering their speeches and what the intentions are behind their speeches. Another way you can utilize this is to listen to companies and salespeople, like the example I used in my introduction. They'll often mislead you with wrong information and use that as a persuasive tactic so that you can purchase their product and leave you literally no room to ask them a question. In the work field, I feel ethical speaking goes hand in hand with mostly any job you'll ever find. I anticipate I'm being a professor, and this means that I need to make sure my students are not misinformed throughout the entire course. This could easily be detrimental if I deliver one thing wrong in the first week to my students and they're completely unsure. I need to make sure that they're on track and that they understand everything that's going on. The second thing is, and I'm sure my professor will understand, is you're going to be talking to a lot of teachers. There's going to be a lot of discussions and meetings. This means that these teachers are going to have their own personal views too, which is when you also bring in the respect. You can incorporate your own sound, logical argument, but you need to respect their opinion. In conclusion, I'm sure you can understand just how much of an impact ethical speaking has made on me. Today I've covered what exactly it is, how it's impacted me, and some ways you can apply it in your future. For a quote I'd like to leave you with, it's actually in the same credo that I mentioned earlier. It states, "We endorse freedom of expression, diversity of perspective, and tolerance of dissent to achieve the informed and responsible decision-making fundamental to a civil society."